Okay, good morning everybody. I will be starting in 1 minute. You hear it, David? The other teachers are. Okay, good morning everybody. My name is Brian Annis. I'm the Academic Manager on the Isle of Wight in sunny United Kingdom. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all to the second of your 6 webinar development sessions. The second is quite practical. There'll be a lot of things going on, and try to keep any chat specific to what we're covering. This session should take around about 1 hour. This will be dependent on how many questions you have for me. I will try and answer them as soon as I can, but I must stick to the PowerPoint, and then we can have a look at it after that. So basically, this isn't a free chat room. This is something to help you develop. So without any further ado, and I'm hoping that you can all hear me now, I shall start with the presentation. So, what we're going to be looking at today is teaching with games to motivate the speaking. Okay, so the session outline, we will keep things to simple everyday classroom games. Some of these games are often to encourage the English language or the language that's being spoken, used by everyone in the class. Obviously, we will give lots of practical ideas to use in your next lessons with students of all ages to create an engagement, build the skills. We'll also be looking at the younger learners. The focus on a few more childlike games. A younger learner lesson is often a game like from the beginning to the end. There needs to be a start and a finish with it, with an aim of what you're trying to achieve. And there'll be a few clear language values coming out within this session. You can use board games or card games in the class. Again, it's adding an English language teaching angle to these, and the games get more sophisticated as the children progress and get up into their higher levels. You need to set the rules of the game, rules of using the games. Once you have you have a quick look at some of the points that have to be covered, but we don't want to overgeneralise on the games and you lose the rationale here. Okay, there's quite a few games out there that can be really complicated, so we need to keep away from them. So that's where the games need to be real games. These may also be called wide games. They are games you can play out in the real world on excursions, when they're on trips, or when they're going from A to B in their groups. And it will give them a chance to practice their English outside of the classroom. So, let's have a look. Time to share some of your favourites. Do you have any great ideas? Let's have a look at some of them. Yes, good. Hangman. Simon says, bingo. 2 truths and a lie. You can also find ideas on a couple of websites. Certainly I use, which is the ESL Library and Busy Teacher. But looking at some of these ideas that are coming up, I've seen quite a few of these on the go, but hey, this is good. Stop the bus is fun. Yeah, that's great, guys. There's some really good games coming up here. Some of them we've all played before. Hangman is also a very, very good favourite. So bear in mind, I'm going to type it. It's a little bit slow, guys. It's slow picking it up. I've just put a couple of in if we take away and think about it. Okay, so let's move on then. Let's have a look at the first bit. Simple classroom games. Okay, to get them going, there's 1 to 10. There's the A to Z, and there's vocabulary tennis. These are everyday games that can be used regularly, and they're normally split interaction types, as you can see. Pairs, teams, and whole group speaking. Okay, so getting going, 1 to 10. This may need you to have some flashcards ready for it, with your 1 to 10, your A to Z, or your vocabulary tennis. These types of flashcards can be found on those websites that I've given to you, and you can have just where you have 1 to 10, and they're looking for maybe letters to make the words up. Vocabulary tennis, you're literally playing tennis across the net with them for it, obviously in a classroom environment, and it should be, you can make fun of that one. So speaking in teams, okay, let's get a little bit clever on this. Chinese whispers. Now I'm sure we've all played Chinese whispers. How do we start this off? Just get your 2 teams, and the teacher starts it. Give them very simple to start with, and let's see how it progresses from there. Okay, Chinese whispers can be fun, especially when what you say at the beginning is nothing like what you're going to hear at the end of it. Okay, back to the board. So there is a word put up on the board, and the children have to, or you as the person with your back to the board, has to guess what the word is. But the answers cannot be giving the word. How about charades or charades? That can be great fun. A lot of the younger children like doing this. So how about table talking games? Okay, you can have dice that you can throw the dice, something you may have to make yourself that will form the basis of the story. Just a minute. Again, these are all sorts of things that can be fun. I am the king. Great idea. And then we can get into the whole group speaking. What are we doing with that? Well, let's get going. I Spy. How many people have played I Spy? I Spy My Little Eye, something beginning with, and then you work your way round. A good way to get everybody involved. I've used this by having the classroom split into their project groups, so they're a good mix of international mix, and they work. Simon said, yes, brilliant fun. You can have real fun with that, so don't call it Simon. Use your name, teacher. Brian said. That's another way of looking at it. Game shows. Okay, I think we've all probably played Two Truths, One Lie. Call My Bluff. Okay, two truths, one lie. Let's see if I can get an answer on that. I'm going to give you two truths and one lie about myself, and let's see what sort of answers quickly pop up. I won't dwell on it for too long. I have met the Queen of England. I have sailed the seven seas. I used to play semi-professional football. Some interesting answers coming up here. I like this. Okay, guys, I think you've got the gist of that one. No, I haven't sailed the seven seas. Yes, I did play semi-professional football, and yes, I have met the Queen. But hey, that's another story. So that's brilliant. Okay, guys, so we're sort of getting the idea of where we're trying to go. So let's move on to the next bit. Okay, younger learners. So what are we doing with the younger learners? Okay, again, as was mentioned earlier, whatever we do, whether we play stepping stones, chanting games, playground games, we need to set up and set the rules to make sure that it achieves what we want to do, and the games need to be able to progress and move as we go on. And as far as younger learners are concerned, I'm concentrating on the 10 to 14-year-olds is the answer to that one. Okay, when you get these games going, you can demonstrate just to get it going so that the children can see what it is. And if you actually hit a game that has a lot of fun based in it, and they think they're having fun out of it and not actually teaching, but you are teaching them, you will probably be asked to play that game again. They will not ask you to play the games that they do not like. Okay, so stepping stones. First of all, I'm going to ask the question, and I'll look at some very quick answers. Has anybody ever played stepping stones before? Okay, so stepping stones. Very, very simple. The students stand on one side of an imaginary, do this in the classroom or outside of the classroom. So the teacher is standing in the water, and they have put on sheets of letters, the letters are then used for whoever comes forward to spell a word. So, if I was to call out a word head, H-E-A-D, the first child would then have to put the hand up, because they can see it. Whoever's first, you invite them to cross the water. And the way they cross the water is to go on the letter H, the letter E, the letter A, the letter D, which spells the word that you've asked them to do. So that is how they will step across the river, stepping stones. If the groups are advanced enough and know the phonetic symbols, those can be included as well. And after everybody gets confident with it, maybe you can think about maybe one of the children can take the teacher role, using the full alphabet on the floor. So then that gives you, as a teacher, another chance to see what the children know, and you may even have to make sure you know the spelling if they ask you to cross on a word that they found. So that is stepping stones. Okay, so chanting games. Now I'm sure we've all had a game of a chanting game. 3. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Paper, scissors, stone. 1 potato. Okay. Another quick question. Have you all played What's the Time, Mr. Wolf? Okay, so for those of you that have played it, I apologise if you're going to hear it again. But for those of you guys that haven't, and there seems to be quite a few, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So, one child at the front with their back, or one student at the front with their back to the class, and the class very slowly move towards Mr. Wolf, shouting out, "What's the time, Mr. Wolf?" As soon as Mr. Wolf turns, the class stands still, and Mr. Wolf will give a time. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever, up till 12 o'clock. When Mr. Wolf has given the answer, they turn round, and we start again. "What's the time, Mr. Wolf?" Now this can go on a few times. It's dependent on the student. They will just turn around and say, "It's dinner time." And as soon as Mr. Wolf says dinner time, everybody has to retreat back to the starting line. Who Mr. Wolf catches becomes Mr. Wolf, because that person is Mr. Wolf's dinner. We'll probably adjust that type of thing to a couple of other games that you can come up with. How about paper, scissors, stone? Okay, paper, scissors, stone. You make the signs of paper, scissors, stone with your hands. So, paper would be your hand out, opened up. Stone you clench your fist, and scissors, you make the sign of scissors with your fingers. So they start by chanting papers, scissors, stone. It is up to the individual as to whether they choose the paper, the scissors, or the stone. If one shows paper, which is the handout, and the other shows scissors, the loser is paper, because scissors can cut paper. If you have stone and scissors showing, that's the fist and the two fingers, scissors cannot cut stone, but stone can blunt the scissors, so the stone would win. It doesn't necessarily have to be paper, scissors, stone. You may, if you wish, change. It's an interesting one, and it will make them, although it's only 3 words, it will make them, when they say you have, say, the paper and the scissors, then you would ask them, okay, who's lost this one? Why? Why have they lost? So you're getting out of the children the answer that you want as to why they've lost and why the scissors are cutting the paper. We all know. Okay, another one that gets used occasionally, it's one that children use their hands with, is 1 potato, 2 potato. Do any of you guys know that one? It's quite a simple chanting game. Okay, we're looking as if some of you guys have come across this game before, some haven't. Okay, all you do is you chant, and they use their fists by going 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, 4. So you're getting them to count upwards, you're getting them to say things, and you're getting them to work together. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, 4. Now when you say 4, you can open it to however many children or students there are in the class. How many people there are that they can see. That would be potatoes more. So let's move on and have a quick look at playground games. What games can they play in the playground? Well, a couple of the ones that I see played quite regularly is probably a lot of people's favourites. One like Duck, Duck, Goose. Do we all know this one? Okay guys, Duck, Duck, Goose. Basically, the class stand in a circle. Somebody, you pick one out, and they go around, and they touch people's shoulders. every time they say duck, they just keep moving round. As soon as they say goose, that person that's had the goose then has to come out, and both the person on the outside and the one that is the goose have to run round and get back to the space that the subject has come out of. Now, there is an interesting way of playing this, is one that I've used, which is as they meet on their way round, they stop and they shake hands and they say, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night, and then carry on. So whoever gets back to the space first stays there. The one that misses the space then goes around and it goes from there. Obviously, change it to make sure that maybe somebody isn't quite as fast as everybody else, and you don't want the same person having to do it all the time. So, they go round, they touch the shoulder, duck, 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 touch the shoulder again, say goose on a different person, off they go. Stop, meet in the middle, have the greetings, hello, good morning, good night, off you go. Do we like the sound of that one, guys? Okay, for people that are having problems with the sound and people that are asking for videos and pictures, we will see if there's any way any of this can be reproduced for you. I would imagine that some of it may well start turning up in your teacher manuals. Okay, another one that can be played in the playground, one that I've played before, picnic. Spell that for you. Sorry guys, it's very slow in accepting my typing in. It'll probably all pop up in a minute. Picnic, a kind of playground game. So, what you do is you get your class to take on a piece of paper a food that they would like to take to a picnic. And you all sit round in your circle, as if you would do on a picnic. Excuse me. And then you can go round one by one and ask them, okay, what is your favourite food? You see what they have written down. Okay, can you tell me what the ingredients are? How do you make it? And then you can work your way all the way around the rest of the club. Yeah, barbecue can do it. So you go all the way around the class, let them speak in turn as to what their favourite food or recipe is for the picnic. Get them to explain it all. How do they do this? Then maybe take a vote. Okay, which one do you like the best? Which one don't you like? And you can get whatever the answers are, you can have a why. Why don't you like it? Why do you like it? And it can be anything. It can be foods, it can be the drinks, anything that you'd like to take on a picnic. And I'm sure a lot of you would have lots of different ideas. It's just giving you some sort of ideas of the type of playground game you can play with that. Another one that I have used, although it doesn't involve an awful lot of playing, it doesn't involve an awful lot of talking, is one called Wink Wink Murder. This is basically what it is. You have the class in a circle, the students in a circle. You pick one to be the detective who goes away and doesn't see. The rest of the students turn their back to you, the teacher, and whoever you tap is the murderer. And then when the detective comes back in, the detective then has to try and find out who the murderer is. And the way the murderer kills other people in the class is by winking. And so they have to be careful that the detective's not looking at them. And what you're trying to get out of the detective is, it's you. No, it's not. It's you. No, it's not. So that is how they fire it through. So you go through it. It seems to be one that a lot of children really like doing. Because they think they're not doing an awful lot of learning, but they actually are. So that's quite a good one. And there'll be a myriad of different games that you can play like that, both inside and outside. So, because maybe if it's a day that's pouring and rain, you want to play that one. Can you adapt it to work? Okay, another one that I've used both inside and outside is spinning the bottle. So you have one in the middle, they spin the bottle. Whoever the bottle points at, you prime that, the teacher primes that student to ask a question. What activity will you be doing tomorrow? What activity did you do yesterday? What have you learned in class over the last 2 days? What food do you like? That sort of thing. So you as a teacher will obviously lead the way and say, this is how we're going to start it, and then they just carry on with it. So it's the activities that they do after class, when they go on their excursions, when they go on their trips, where they have their games periods, it doesn't matter. And for Claire, yes, this is still, although basically for younger learners, you can adapt this for the older ones. So is everybody happy so far? Is there any big questions you may have before I move on? Okay, guys, I can only apologise about the sound because I should imagine we're going all the parts of the world, so it's the best we can do. As there's over 200 of you on here, I'm doing my best. If there's anything really, really important you want to get across, try and draw it to my attention in the chat side, and I'll try and answer it as best I can for you in the time that we have. So, what I'm going to do now is especially take note of this. We're going to have a look about using board and card games in the classroom. So, what board games can we do? Okay, there are lots and lots of different types of board games. I have seen my own teachers bring their own board games in because maybe some of their children haven't actually used it before. So you'd have things like Ludo, Snakes and Ladders. So children can make their own games up out of this. You'd have Monopoly, Risk, Upwards. Now Upwards is a different version of Scrabble. So basically what you may have played Scrabble and you got all the words out. Now what you would do is you would overlay these with other letters to spell other words. It doesn't necessarily have to follow on what the Scrabble ones have got. Jenga. Now Jenga is a bit of a strange one, where you have all the pieces of wood that form the shape. The way you can adapt it is you can dictate how many pieces you use, but also on each piece you can put a question. Okay. What is your favourite subject at school? What is your favourite activity? What is your favourite food? Who is your favourite pop star? Who is your best friend? Anything you want. So when they take the piece out, they have to read the question and then give the answer back to everybody. If that makes sense to you? So they're not only playing the game, thinking about it, there is a question to be involved for them to keep that piece out. And then we have our favourite, which I hope everybody likes, which is the Go game. The EF Go game. So we all know, I hope anyway, we all know how this works. And again, you can adapt the questions that maybe the question or the activity they have to do for what they've been on or what they land on the board game you think it might be a bit too complicated for them because of their level, then adapt it. That's the beauty of the Go game itself. I was very fortunate 3 years ago when the Go game originally came out. I was actually used as the guinea pig to test it with an off-season group. So it was great. It has a good place within what we're trying to do. Okay, so how to use them? We need to keep the rules simple, don't we? Okay, and we need to focus on playing aloud. Okay, so we need to get the players to talk about what they're doing as they take their turn, or they work in teams, or they come up with a strategy as to how they wish to do it. So maybe you could take points off the team who are using incorrect English. Maybe take the points off the team that spells a word wrong. Okay, so you can use a team to cooperate wherever go back to if somebody makes a mistake. I've seen people very agitated because somebody has spoken what they've been asked to give without talking to the rest of the team, and they get quite enthusiastic, get very, very competitive. And we need to get it out, put them away in a language, using it as a language opportunity. When to use them. So, should you play a game every day, guys? Should they be playing a game every day? What are your thoughts? Okay, lots of different good ideas coming up here, guys, about your own individual feeling on when to use the games. Certainly, I try to, with my guys, certainly with the Go game, if I have a 2-week group in, they will get the Go game probably Wednesday of the week that they finish on Friday. If they're a 3-week group, then they're lucky. They may well look at it twice, because then you can keep a score of the groups that are actually involved in playing the game. Another way of thinking about when we should use the game. If children have been out on the beach all morning and it's hot, what are your first problems when they come in from a hot, sunny morning on the beach, and they're coming into class in the afternoon? They're probably going to be tired. They're probably hungry, although they've probably had about 3 lunches. So you may start with a short game, a sort of like a warm-up game. And I see a couple of you are already coming up with some ideas about using a warm-up game just to get everything going. Yes, I'm a great believer in a warm-up game, even if it's only 5 minutes. It gets everybody in the right frame of mind, and it's just great. And another one that I see popping up, yes, a lot of my teachers have done this. There'd be a reward for the best team, or someone well that day. So warm up or at the end, it doesn't really matter. The actual call, the decision would be made by you guys who have to deal with the game with the children on a daily basis. See, need to control the time? Yes, you definitely need to control the time. Remember, although these students are our customers and we're doing everything we can to make it as fun and as fantastic as possible, never lose sight of the fact that you are the person in charge. To think about the whole class as opposed to just one or two. Yeah, you can use it as a summing up of the day, the end of the lesson, or the end of the course. So, yeah, that's brilliant. There's some good ideas coming in out here, guys. So, if any of you, if you're all quite happy with that, I am going to move on to the next bit. Sophisticated games. This is when we start getting on. So, what have we got? Role plays. So we've got three examples there. alibi, murder mysteries, escape rooms. Okay, what do you guys think about these type of games? Alibi, murder mysteries, escape rooms. Is this good for the young learner, or is this good for maybe people that are getting on towards the senior side? Okay, with a game like Alibi, start by somebody's turned up late and they're trying to give you a good excuse and alibi as to why they're late. I missed my bus. That's not a very good... No, the bus broke down, or there was a minor road traffic accident in front that held the bus up. That's the type of alibi we're going to. Murder mysteries, it's almost a bit like a whodunit. Okay, then we move on. Okay, online games. Now, not many junior destinations have this available. So, they're normally called adventure games in class. Yeah, these can be done on computers, iPads, or phones in class. So there is the potential for group work and problem solving, and even a bit of competition. Now, especially with games like The Room or Minecraft. But it can also extend the learning beyond the class with the English language speaking with network games, such as Second Life, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty that I see my children play. It's online. The world is there for everybody to grab hold of, provided you've got the technology and it's within the curriculum that you're trying to get across. Okay, in the classroom or outside, one that I use, which is quite good, it's sophisticated, it's called, I'll type it in for you, Ship in the Fog. Okay, Ship in the Fog. This can be played in the classroom, if you have a big enough classroom, or you can play it outside. And basically what you do, you can use bags, you can use chairs as an obstacle. You have a start line and a finish line, and the person that goes first is blindfolded, and then another person has to guide them from the start to the finish without actually touching any of the obstacles that are in the way. So what they're looking for, right, okay, I want you to take 2 steps forward, stop, 1 step to your left or right, and you guide them that way through the obstacles up to the finish line. If the person that's being guided actually touches one of the obstacles, they basically are out of the game. So they stay where they hit the object. That is like a mine blowing up a battleship, or it's like an obstacle that you can't go by. They stay there and then you guide the next one through. Now I've seen this played in 2 different ways. You can play it as 2 separate teams to get everybody through, or you just play it as one long one until you have either nobody left or everybody has got through to the finish. So that is one, ship in the fog. Ship in the fog. Another one that I've seen played, which is okay when you're out and about, is for the children to start looking at all the different road signs and signs that are out and about where they're going on their walk from wherever they are going to the school, when they're out on their excursions. They have a look at all the different types of danger signs, working signs, road signs, no entry signs, all that type of thing. If there's any that they don't understand or they've never seen it before, get them to take a picture of it or make a drawing of it, bring it into school, into the class, and then it's something that can be discussed in the class after. And there probably are many, many others out there. So, again, the world is your oyster. It's there for you guys to try and find something and see what there is on there. Yes, traffic signs. Use a collection of photos of signs that you took when you were on your travels. If you can work outside, yeah, that's even better. A couple of the destinations I've got, there's a public park right next to it that has signs all over the place. No dogs allowed on the grass, please keep off the grass. All that type of thing. So it may be something that they don't see in their own country. So it's something that you can use. Outside game, giving direction is practical? Yes, definitely. Okay guys, so moving on. The rules of playing the games. Okay, we need to make sure that the games are authentic. All the games that we play. Even as adults, we all play games. So, what I'd like you to do is to type any games you play we need to mention. Okay. So we need to know what characterises a game, don't we guys? Sometimes these things are missed and the classroom games are stale. But even feeding back on the answers after an activity can be made into a game. So bearing those points in mind. So I think the things to bear in mind with some of these games, or a lot of these games, is winning and challenge are important. I think you'll find, I think we've all found, that most of the children that we're teaching, students, they are with the best of them. So it's really good, that's it. And for them, taking part can be fun. That's the main thing. That Claire, I've been on the British Council for Kids as well. There are many, many games there for you. In our world today, all you do is Google something and it'll come up with pages and pages of things, and you'll actually find games on there that existed. So it's really good. And the gift for the winner, great idea. So not only is it competitive, again it would be fun. And the gift doesn't have to be anything elaborate. All it needs to be is maybe a piece of candy. Anything like that. Bag of lollipops. Yes, great. People do that. Yeah, what we tend to do is maybe some of the, if we've got many bags or too many wristbands, we'll just put them in a bag and just say, okay, well done, you've done really well. Your reward today is put your hand in the bag and take something out. Okay, real games that the children can carry on with. Okay, these are the ones that were mentioned earlier, referred to as wide games. These are the kind of games where play goes beyond the classroom, and this is stuff that they do in their activity time. Use practice their English in a playful way, but in the real world context. These ones come from the inspired and are inspired from the Activities Encyclopedia, which hopefully everybody's been able to have a sight of or had a few ideas from it. Okay, how many of you are familiar with the Activities Encyclopedia? Okay, the Activities Encyclopedia is something that was produced this last season, and there are different sections. One of them gives you ideas how to link the activity with the school, with their learning. Well, we have scavenged. This is done so that they can go out and about to find things or take photographs. Treasure hunt, obviously they need clues written that lead them on to the next, and teams can make. The map is given a time limit to get as many things in a map box as possible. That would be fun. Tapo challenge, a couple of you asked what Tapo challenge. It's also under another guise called the paperclip challenge. It's a trading game where groups are given a potato or a paperclip to trade and swap with people in the street for gradually cooler things until the time limit when they come back with the best item. People have actually even come back with at a PlayStation. Okay, the PlayStation was a very, very old broken one, but how they found it, I really don't know. But it's different, it's a different idea, and it's a way that they go forward. I apologise for you guys, some of you don't work with EF, you probably wouldn't know our Activities Encyclopedia. However, we do have many things Okay, so now it's your turn. Okay, it's your turn. It's saying here, we're telling you, type suggestions and links in the text chat. If you have a microphone, click the hand symbol and we can let you speak together. We're going to give you 5 minutes this one. So, over to you guys. And there seems to be lots of great ideas coming up here, guys. Consider games that are fun, maybe even silly, competitive or collaborative. Involve challenge, ideally some creativity or challenge. It's surprising how many teachers suggest games that just aren't fun. So really we need to put these games out here that students are really going to have fun with. Okay guys, there's lots and lots of great ideas. About to go on to the last slide. Okay guys, so here we go. Teaching me going to motivate the speaking, the content question. Okay, to show that you've actually participated in the thing. We're asking you to name 2 board games that I mentioned today. And please, I shall leave this up for you, and please answer within that form that you now. And big thank you to everybody for taking part today. So if you go onto that link on that form, you have the answers, please.